Hello, YouTube. Welcome.
Hello.
Rapturous.
Yeah, the enthusiasm is massive.
Oh, I've never been more
just found
excited.
a YouTube channel.
I can't believe people actually watch us. I was gobsmacked by that.
Oh.
I thought it was just like Suki's wife.
I mean, Suki's wife does watch it 83 times, though, so that makes the numbers up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good job you're all good looking.
She can't get enough
She
of
does
us.
it, doesn't she? Well, it's the only time she gets to see
Oh,
Suki,
actually,
isn't it?
I'm not
Because he's too
gonna
busy
talk
doing
about
podcasts
that.
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that.
You're getting into trouble, Suki, have you?
Okay. How was that weekend?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was fantastic.
You was like
Absolutely
being like an
great.
assistant
Is
to
that a
someone.
weekend away from the missus, was that?
Did she just sit
Well,
home
what's
and watch
going
you
on?
on
No,
YouTube?
no, John. No, we had a great time with the thing. Signed photos for the YouTubers up here, and this one, I'll forget it. And this one's one that I want to show for the YouTubers if they see it. It's me, Andrew Smith, and Stephen White, and I was looking after Stephen White most of the day.
Why are we looking after him? Is
What do
he,
you mean
like,
looking after? Is it
Who is he?
wheelchair or something?
He's the greatest show in the galaxy and shuttle. Greatest show in the galaxy and
I know he fucking is. I'm a bigger Spencer
I
Quay
don't
fan than
know.
you.
I haven't got a clue who he is.
right. So yeah, I was when he was doing the sign, I was looking at making sure there was nobody jumping
But like
the
his
queue.
body, like his mind.
Was you his
He's
bodyguard?
you seen
The
them, you
muscle.
seen them. The people that sit next to all these. I was the minder, yeah. I was Terry McCann.
Did you feel like Dennis Waterman? He was like Arthur Daly.
I was just
whatever
says I was
it's
Terry
called.
McCann.
Oh, is that Terry McCann? Did he got replaced by that young lad though, didn't he? Do you remember?
Yeah,
Gary
yeah.
Webster.
Gary Webster, that's him, yeah.
And he was about Suki's size. He was small as well, wasn't
Wow.
Well, that's amazing, by the way. 'cause
That was an attack. What an attack. Poor Suki.
and you saw Phil Cannon, didn't you, as well?
And Beef
Oh yeah, that was good.
as well.
Yeah.
Got a bunch
Oh
of
yeah, I
people
met
that
a
we
few.
know.
Yeah. Kieran Beef, Phil Cannon. Yeah, there was a good. Couple of people. One person I hadn't seen for about 25 odd years.
Why?
Oh, that was fucking quick, that Craig. That was awesome.
Sorry, darling.
They're not sorry. They're more.
It's
pleased
just
with
I had a
themselves.
message
Just
from
wanna-
a
I was
Oh.
so happy about going to and discussing it with you, and all you're doing is just taking the piss.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fair enough.
And
You
I'm
have done
dreading this episode recording because, oh dear.
You have done this podcast before, okay, haven't you?
You didn't know
Yes,
the way it
I
goes.
know.
I think it's the only one you
But no-
swear more on than anything else.
Yeah, but it did look amazing, and I was well jealous. It'd be great to like meet Phil and all them kind of people, and Stephen White is amazing. So
Well, I met him and his lad. They spent most of their time in the theatres watching the interviews, and right at the end, there's a raffle, and Phil goes, "Oh shit, we haven't bought the raffle ticket." So I said, "Don't worry, right?" And so I won one of the prizes. Someone said, "Tell you what, you can just go get yourself a prize to Scott, his lad." And Scott
night with
went
his
up
wife.
and got himself a.
See,
What's going on, Craig?
Take it too far, Craig.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't help it.
Honestly.
I just
Craig,
came on
this
my
is
phone.
This is a 9-year-old child. You know, I don't think he'll be doing that.
Oh,
I saw
Right,
him-
Craig.
yeah. So he went and got a signed photograph of Mike Tucker.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Framed and everything. It was lovely.
Oh, that's wicked.
So can we just go over this? So you, Phil didn't get a raffle ticket. You said, "Don't worry," and then you won a prize. Was that because you had already arranged
No.
to win this prize? Is it?
No,
did you
I had
cheat
not
at the
arranged
raffle?
Oh, yeah.
I did not cheat at no raffle. I won
Alright.
one prize out of 50 prizes that were offered,
All right.
and I sent Scott up to fetch it. Cheat. How dare you?
Were
My
you,
reputation's
were you
maligning.
working there? Did you volunteer or something? Is that why you were looking after Stephen White or whatever?
Yeah. Steve
But
Steve Atcher.
Did you get anything free for like doing it?
No,
in?
I don't get nothing.
You got it
I
for
think
free.
just
presumably.
kudos.
Oh, well, I got the photograph. was discounted instead of
Discounted.
Oh,
Should be free
you
then.
just helped him to the toilet and everything. Why did he get one?
like his carer.
How much discount did you get?
I think they were being sold at £15 each, £10 or £15. I got it for a £5.
Oh, that's a good discount.
Did you give him some dodgy DVDs by part of payment?
Well, that's
I
what you
didn't bring
get.
no DVDs with me now, so I do apologise.
I mean, that's what you get, YouTubers. You see, you get the preamble to the actual podcast
Yeah.
for your money on the YouTube.
Yeah.
that you
Just
don't pay for.
basically us attacking Suki.
I'm going
It's
again
amazing
next
that he
year.
turns up.
All right,
You're gooing again.
we're going to
Yeah,
kick
we're
off.
doing
Gooing,
again.
it's gooing.
I'll come with you. I'll volunteer. I'll care for one of them.
Ask Steve Hatcher. I'll put a word in for you.
What do you
I
mean?
don't
You
know
had
who
to ask
Steve
him, can I be
Hatcher
your
is.
carer? And so-
Steve Hatcher's the
I'll be your
organiser.
carer next year. I'll
Oh
be
my
your
God.
carer. I'll be
Bobby's
the
a
carer's
qualified
carer.
carer, aren't you? Yeah, you know
I
what
am
you're doing.
actually,
That.
yeah. I've got certificates.
You'll be a carer. All
Yeah,
right,
I've got
okay. You come and be my
certificates and boxing
carer.
gloves.
You look
All right.
after me. I sometimes struggle to pull my zip down and bring it out and have a wee, and then I have to wipe it up afterwards as well. So make sure you do
Yeah.
that for us.
I'll even blow on it for you.
I don't need you to blow on it.
Just flick it at the
You'll
end.
shrink it even more than I need it to be shrunk.
You're still talking about your wife again.
Let's do a podcast.
Let's do a
Yes.
podcast. Okay, I'll kick it off. I'm the host.
Yeah.
Okay.
See how this goes.
I've got every confidence. He's been on a roll more recently now. He's got it down to a fine art.
I think Bob's trying to make sure we get it. If I don't, I'm off. I'm out.
You're off the bar.
Yeah,
Practice
Get
makes
what?
perfect. Shit.
it's trying to make me get it right.
I've
Right,
got a
ready?
free comic as well.
Oh,
What,
right.
what's that on the
Paradise
front cover?
Towers. Paradise
Ooh,
Towers comic.
That's
free.
cool. That is very cool, actually. What's it? Show me some artwork.
Oh, okay. 1 second.
Why are the pages stuck together?
Because I've had a. Obviously, you know why.
That looks
Yeah.
amazing.
That looks really
Looks good. Got loads of pictures and everything.
Is it full of red and yellow kangs and things like that?
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Red Kang on the front cover. Yeah, this is mainly about Red Kangs and the caretakers.
So, podcast.
Podcast,
Yeah,
right?
podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get this shit done.
And welcome to Around the Console. I'm here, I'm Sheps, and I'm joined by my fellow TARDIS hugging mates, John, Bob, Craig, and Suki. And we're going to delve in, as we usually do, to some Doctor Who classics or great writing, brilliantly acted Who episodes. But today, we're looking at Runaway Bride. And to kick us off, the one who chose it, the man on the hour, fucking Suki.
Hello. Right. Yes, I did choose it as one of 4 options. And I've got to blame Bob for rolling the dice. So, you know, why I'm getting all this abuse. What's that finger for there, Bob? Was that just for the YouTube?
Nervous twitch.
Swear. Right. So, Bob is the one who chose this with his random throwing of the dice. Look at the evil look on my
It was actually Bonko. Bonko the dwarf rolled this. So if you're going to blame someone, blame Bonko. And
you'll
you for
find
picking it.
Your fans
all
will
three.
record of
I
that
don't-
on D&D Beyond as well. So
I-
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not-
I've got evidence.
I'm not sure you can actually blame Blob. Because you put it in the first place, Suki. That's
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
just
I put it in the first place,
Half
but
whoosh.
you know, it was just random luck that it came out.
So therefore, if it's random, it is not Blob's fault.
Well, then, tell us what you thought.
All right, I'll tell you what I
That was
thought.
it.
Okay, so it was all right. Catherine Tate's portrayal of Donna is very, very grating because she does seem to shout a lot, and it just does get a bit wearing on the ears, which it did after about 5-10 minutes of her going, what? I want to get to the wedding. Martian boy is just a bit too much. But overall, storyline was okay. It cracked along the fantastic pace. And it did seem to set up like the Time Lord victorious as well. The last of the Time Lords and him being the one that he thinks he's got the power to be able to do all sorts of things. So, yeah, I'd say it was a bit of a middle of the road sort of episode.
And John, what did you think?
Well, I don't want to say bag of shite initially because I want to be slightly positive. So I'll try and find some positives in this. And no, actually, I do have some. You're right about the doctors like being emotional about Rose. I remember that previous thread, and I got the relationship. I believed in it. So yeah, that was some nice moments, but it was kind of ridden over by Donna Noble. We'll talk about that in more detail later on.
Craig?
I really like this story, actually. I can't see why Suki was getting so much jip for this.
Yeah.
You have to put it in a context, which I'll talk about as we're going round, but I will be defending this. I mean, it is a Christmas story. It's not up amongst my top, I don't know, 20, 25, whatever, but I enjoy it. I did like watching it again. I just needed a bit of snow to fall just to add to that Christmassy season. But yeah, you'll hear nothing bad from me tonight.
Bob?
Right. So the middle of it's quite good, where it calms down, but the first 11 minutes and 33 seconds are the most hideous attack I've ever had on my senses ever. I loved this at the time, but I loved all Doctor Who because it was new, it was back out. I did love it at the time. The beginning is awful on every level, visually, acting over the top, music horrible, until the TARDIS chase scene, which I do quite like because that's quite cool. See the TARDIS chasing one, and the middle bit I quite like. I hate the Rachnos. I think it's fucking the worst, one of the worst monsters we've ever seen in Doctor Who. The actress is terrible, but the middle bit is all right. So it does have a saving grace because you see what is potential to come of the Doctor and Donna relationship, which I do like in season 4. I do like it because she calms down a lot, and you see a little bit of that in the middle, and I like that. But bookended by fucking awful horrendousness. There you go.
Can I just come? Oh,
What
sorry.
about you,
Yeah,
Chefs?
Oh, I just think it was way too long when it first came out. But when it did come out, my kid, Cyrus at the time, loved it because of the Rachnos. And we ended up buying one of the Rachnos, one of the actual models. A few years ago, I sold it for 25 quid. But so that's the saving grace for this episode, that I made 25 quid out of it. But similar to how Bob was saying, there was a lot of crap in it, but you could see like RTD was trying to write something fulfilling of David Tennant and reflect on what had just gone past. But it was just jumbled up in a lot of mess. It made me think it was rushed writing to get out for Christmas. And he tried to put too much in with the robotic Santas, with the Rachnaros, with a new companion. There was just too much thrown in.
What I will say, and I'm going to start defensively and positive for me, is the fact that I get it. It's Christmas. He wants all in there. Big fat Christmas cracker, big Christmas present for Doctor Who fans, and I get that. And I did love it at the time. But going back and watching it out of context as a one-off, honestly, I can't even believe how offended I was by the beginning of it. Murray Gold's music is horrible.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And he writes good music. It's not that he doesn't. It's just, so unbelievably overbearing. It takes you out of it.
Just a comment on Murray Gold's music is that in 99% of it, he's absolutely terrible. The tone doesn't match what's going on. It's something wrong with the levels that they're using. But when there's some particularly dark moments, there's a really cool discordant thing he does. So as far as a good point, that is Murray Gold is that sort of interesting orchestration, which is a very niche thing to like, but it is something.
So I watched this with headphones on, so I didn't have the television surround or anything like that. So I had the headphones on.
Your wife talking.
Right. Anyway, I watched it, and your music is that loud it just drowns out,
Doesn't it?
What watching on the screen, because the music is just it's just impacting on your brain so much you just don't know what's going on in the screen sometimes, and you can't hear what some of the characters are saying. There's a couple of places where I had to, because I even got the subtitles on, I weren't reading the subtitles. I had to keep rewinding it back just a little 10 seconds or so just to find out what exactly he said. And it was I think the music is a problem for this episode, which it had been. We all complained about it at the time when this initial run was first being broadcast. The music was always loud. It was always drowning out some of the
There's a music moment when they're at the Thames water barrier thing, and they come out, they look over London, and you get Murray Gold ripping the piss out of like George Gershwin, Rhapsody in Blue, American in Paris, which is like it's 1920s kind of ragtime jazz orchestra stuff, and like that's just like heavy-handed and didn't work, and it was just on top of everything.
It felt to me that he'd been told to put the music together for this production, when these was all pieces of music he already had and used it rather than
Didn't seem
watching
fit.
it. And then, because many of it didn't fit. Some of it was just too overjoyous. I know it's Christmas. And then it didn't fit when it's supposed to be a bit darker, and he can do good music. That's where that's where he thinks it was something he had at the side and thought, oh, I'll just put this in. Because we know Murray Gold can do some good music, but he does have the tendency to be a bit, OTT.
His themes and things he's done, it's difficult with Murray Gold, because is he responsible for the edit, the mixing of the sound, and where it goes?
No.
Because the music itself that he's composed, it's good. There's some fantabulous music.
Wow.
But whoever edited it and stuck it in, it was a really bad job. It was just, and I tell you what, like, I'm going to say, like, Catherine Tate, Donna's one of my favorite companions. She really is. But you only see that when it calms down a bit.
You only see that when yeah.
Well, it's a contrast thing, isn't it? It's like a contrast thing. She's like, she's turned up to 11 for the first half of the film, the show.
Yeah.
In order to like make those handful of moments where she's actually thoughtful and retrospective, and she's actually nice and speaking like a normal fucking human, makes them all the more sort of poignant. But because of all that shouting, I've written immediately annoying as fuck, and just so many bad things I've written about Donald Noble can fuck off.
I think they asked her to play the Catherine Tate character, didn't they? The ones that she has in the series.
Yeah, but why did anybody think that was a good idea?
Because it's Christmas.
It was exactly. I remember reading an interview with him at the time, and he actually says that part of it was for the first half an hour, you wouldn't like Donna. And the whole reason for it was you'd had all that such emotional buying with Rose, who'd remember was the last moment we saw of the previous episode was the departure of Rose. So we deliberately wanted something, because if he brought something all nice and goody-goody, then it would just be too emotional. So he actually said he wrote it so that she would be jarring and contrasting and annoying. And then which is interesting to listen to you all. That's why I sat back. And you all said exactly what his intention was, that towards the end, you see this softer side of her. So it's literally like the harsh reality, someone putting the brakes on the character, the screaming, and what you know her for, Catherine Tate's comedy show. And then her acting skills come out, which show where it's going to go when at that point, I don't know if it was known she's going to be a companion, but that was his actual intention. So I didn't know that at the time.
That's brilliant.
Well done to him, but I mean, it was an awful choice that he made.
I think it was
ruined the episode for totally for me.
Well, you just, to be fair though, you saying that, Craig, that does make perfect sense for where it's situated. But I think as a one-off episode, watching it now,
definitely.
It is a very hard work because, like I say, Donna is one of my favorite companions. Season 4. I think it's beautiful. I think her and David Tennant work really well together. The only thing I'll say, and every time and I rarely do it, is go back and watch anything from the RTD that's not written by Stephen Moffat. It's very of the time to me. When you got TV that's very of the time, and I mean in low cast, whatever you want to, it may be. Whereas I think, this is my personal opinion, you can go back into the Moffat and Chibnall era, and you could probably watch it in 20 years and it wouldn't feel like it's out of a certain time. Whereas RTD set his stall out this particular sort of space soap opera or whatever it was. And there's parts of it that are brilliant, to see that in Doctor Who, the character-driven element, the emotional side and all that kind of thing. But to me, there's just something that it's I think what Doctor Who trying to explain this. So Doctor Who now, or has done since Moffat, tries to live up to a certain budget when it doesn't have the budget of other TV that people are used to. If this is making sense, so all these big HBO, all these other Amazon Prime, all these big budget things, that's what it tries to do now. Whereas back then, it probably had a much bigger budget than it ever did, but it's still probably
tried to shoot too high.
Yeah, and I think that it sort of, although that's quite a charming thing, it loses a bit for that. And I think this was a prime example of it trying to do too much. But again, I'm watching it now, not at Christmas when Doctor Who had just come back after a couple of years, because that was a different time. And I think that's the thing with RTD; it is of the time stuff.
Yeah, that is I get that rewatching.
Yeah, I get that now. When I watched it for this session, it must be the first time for absolutely donkey's years, and yeah, you can see that it's not aged well. But what I did like is Donna's character, even though she's a pain in the ass in this, she does get better. I like the fact that, thank God, they introduced a character who wasn't just, falling all over bloody David Tennant. Everyone fell in love with him. That got so annoying, and it got so slagged on, didn't it? Everyone just got a bit bored of that. It just got a bit over silly. So it was good having a character which was just there to do like a Sarah Jane, but obviously she's not got the brain of Sarah Jane. But you know what I mean? She did. She had a job to do. She was like reporting.
Carbs.
Yeah. She didn't have the carbs or her ass. Actually, anything.
I mean, we're all used to Donna's character later on in the series where she and this is probably one of the reasons why she's now coming back in these new specials, because she's such a popular character. This does not highlight how popular the character is.
It doesn't
became right. This was just like a one-off character for the Christmas special when everybody was just going to be sitting around watching what was on the telly, right? And I understand this was like an hour-long TV where she had to have an arc within that hour-long. Her character developed a year and a half, 2 years later when she came.
She developed in this.
Right.
She did develop in this, and it was quite good going back and seeing it by her saying, "I'm leaving." Obviously, she can't go back to her job because she's been set up, throughout this whole thing, and that's heartbreaking as well when she discovers Lance has been giving her coffee to the point of marriage. It is a heartbreaking moment. Absolutely.
And the way the Doctor twigs first, I think is really beautifully done. Like, I'm sorry, and she's not even getting, no matter what, she's not twigging it.
That's a lovely moment.
I also like in that moment that you're going on about, Bob, is the fact that she's got her version of events and what's happening, but then the show, the actual events where she's going, "Oh, he kept chasing me, he kept buying me," but it was the other way around. He proposed, she proposed, and she was chasing him, and all this stuff. So I quite like that little juxtaposition.
There must have been something in the way she was conducting herself for RTD to bring her back in the future, because out of this, I think even the fans at the time was like, "Whoa, she's a bit of a headache," but then afterwards she just progressed into a good companion.
I think this because David Tennant and Catherine Tate had appeared in a couple of other things together, which weren't Doctor Who.
So he knew what she could do.
There was comic relief stuff. There was also a Shakespeare play or something like that. So they'd got the chemistry, and she then put herself forward saying, "Look, if there's anything else, I'd love to come back." And so that's why I think Martha was suddenly written out.
And also, it was part of he had his story out for Martha, didn't it? Because she's in it for 3 years because she does Doctor Who, and then she goes into Torchwood for about 5 episodes, and then she comes back into Doctor Who. She's in season 2 of Torchwood.
Yeah, I think there's only about 3 episodes.
It's about 3. I thought it was more than that. I thought she was for a while. But she comes back in. But I mean, for me, I think this was still at a risky point for Doctor Who. It was only 2. He only had 2 series. It was the first departure of a companion. It was only its second Christmas special. Up until then, you'd had 2 years of Doctor Who. You'd had 2 doctors already. This was only David Tennant's. No one knew, I imagine, when this was going into production, how big it was going to be under David Tennant. So I suppose they also wanted to bring a familiar name in that people might tune in to watch for that person.
And they continue to do that, Craig, though, with the Christmas
Kylie,
specials.
of course.
Kylie, Michael Gambon, Russell E. Grant. And they try and do that at Christmas. And that's awesome. And that's what I mean. It's very of the time. The only Christmas special I can think of that's not sort of the time and in context is the Christmas Carol, which I could watch as a normal episode of Doctor Who. The rest of them when you watch them on Christmas Day, it's great and a lot of fun. But that's the only one that I would actually go back and watch is the Christmas Carol one.
Oh, I like the one with the dream crabs as well. I know I'm not a lover of Capaldi, but the dream crabs one, the alien-esque one with Capaldi, I really like as well.
Oh, is that like alien-y kind of one?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called now, but is it Last Christmas?
I think it is, and it's got Nick Frost in it as Santa.
Yeah, and it's got Patrick Troughton's son as well. Yeah,
David.
But it's like you said, of its time, this is like 15 years old now, so it's a bit like comparing a Tom Baker to a William Hartnell. That's how long further down the show we've gone. 15 years when William Hartnell starts, 15 years later, you've got Tom Baker. So we're looking back now, 15 years ago, saying, well, this is what science fiction is like now. But what a good number of you said, I don't know, John, but is when you watched it at the time, it was fun. It fit the moment. And I think that's what you've got to go back to. It's easy now comparing it, because even I thought the beginning was, crikey, that was shriller than I expected, or a bit faster paced. And I knew I liked it. I was looking forward to watching it again, but I was a bit taken aback by the beginning. But I also knew that I would grow to like her. But I think it's like I said, it's 15 years old now. So it's going to reflect its time then.
What did you think of Rachnos, the actual story behind that, as it being part of the creation?
I think the idea,
everything we've watched with Time Lord Victoria,
with the Dark Times, I think the idea is tremendous. I think the execution of the Rachnos was awful, because the actress playing it, or the script made it sound stupid.
Yeah,
the voice, the way it was done, and it was hammy, but it doesn't lend itself to a wise creature from the Dark Times. It's a massive, not very intelligent spider with a speech impediment. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, this is not.
The Doctor does love his good genocide of dark time races, doesn't he?
Doesn't he just? Yeah. Especially DT.
Aye.
I quite I didn't like too much of the performance of Sarah Parrish, but the design I thought was excellent. Yeah. The way she was, all the eyes on her.
Reminded me.
The design was good. I liked it, but the fact that it didn't move then made no bloody sense.
I picked up on that as well, John, I must admit, because that was one of the criticism I came up with. But I wondered if it was to do with the way she was kind of beamed down.
No, it's because they couldn't afford to make a moving spider.
Well, I know that bit, but I was thinking how I could legitimize it in the story.
Yeah, you can try and self-canonize that information yourself. Yeah.
The actress, she has said that it was one of the most uncomfortable, because they had to strap her in, right, with all the harnesses and stuff, and then put her into the bottom half of the costume or whatever.
So she was playing a strap on.
Yes,
I'm not having a problem when I'm strapped in a harness.
So Xbox controllers.
The thing of the story of
awful.
The story of the Rachnos, I thought if they developed that could be a really good story to come back to.
It's quite a common one. We've had the sort of Silurians of dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff. It's just basically trying to get the people that are lost from before this certain time and all that. And I quite like the idea that it's made it a little personable with the idea of a wedding. So this bloke's grooming Donna, Lance is grooming Donna, through this thing, which does create a sad moment. The idea is relatively simple and quite nice. And the middle of this, I think, is quite nice. It's like 10 or 15 minutes, which is quite nicely acted and executed. You've got the bit with David Tennant as well, when he's reminiscing about Rose, and I forgot about that. That this was after Rose had gone, and the dancing bit and the subtle bits, the real emotive bits, I think, are done really well when it's toned down. But the like I said, the TARDIS scene, I remember watching that, and I remember and watching it now again. I think it's terrific. Seeing the TARDIS in a car chase, that is mental. And that is probably a massively over the top thing, but I enjoyed that.
And it does stand out. It does. It does.
Yeah.
With the special effects, it hasn't aged that much. It hasn't aged that much. You could probably still do that sort of effects now, and it'd be sort of similar exactly to what it was 15 odd years ago.
But the story's simple enough, and it has that emotional tie-in, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's easy to follow. It's quite cool. Like I said, sorry, John, go on.
But that is a little nice ribbon that's wrapping up this massive pile of shite, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it was awful. Honestly, as you know,
it was painful. Is what it was.
The initial part. I nearly didn't watch it But I managed to, after it got off my rage, I was doing some work at the computer and I just put it on my iPod at a lower volume. So it wasn't as garish and in my ears and eyeballs. And that was all right. And then I picked up on the little, like I said, the little emotive moments and the bits that were quite good in it. It's not awful from start to finish, but fucking hell, my treat once a month. My treat once a month
ears hurt.
But no, because I turned it down, Chef. I had it right low. I just on my iPad. But this is the thing I think that annoyed me the most about it was this is my monthly Doctor Who I get to watch, and this month it was it. This was it.
Who picked it? Which cunt picked it?
Bonko the Dwarf, apparently, or me.
Suki, I'm all right that you chose.
Blob, you picked it, Blob.
To be fair, I chose my choice last week was or last month was the next one we've done. Or I went with the Adipose. I can't remember what it's called now. Smith and Jones, and that's
Martha's new
Partners in Crime.
Partners in Crime. Yeah, that's what I went with. But I could see exactly why Suki went for it. He just went a bit further back historically.
I went for it because I pulled out a £10 note from behind me. That's all I did with it. Yeah. And I'll still stand by my selection. I don't mind, we've got to review the bad with the good or the mediocre.
I like it. Yes, it's good. See, it's got a lot of the conventions of the rom-com, hasn't it? Which I don't know if you guys like rom-coms particularly, but that's what I see in this. Because in a rom-com, you've traditionally got all the modes of transport. So she's on the Segway, they're on the taxi, they're in the TARDIS. Usually there's a bit of land, sea and air, and they've got a little bit of that in here. And then you've also got that the bitchy friend. So you had Nerys who was in there. You had the wedding that doesn't happen because she's jilted at the altar. He is. So that it was meant to be a bit rom-commy. You have some like when Moffat did Christmas Carol, that was meant to be the kind of the narrative of it was a rom-com, and it does have so many of the features, the emotional moments to highlight, and also it kind of. It took that twist and turn because I remember the interview again going back that he wanted it to look like Donna was having fun. So you had to take from the disappointed, I'm confused and I'm lost, to buying in with this total stranger and giggling on the Segway down the corridors. And then obviously the rest of it.
The way she's left as well, because obviously we know what happens to Donna. She goes traveling. It changes her life, but obviously it's going to change your life when you get involved with the Doctor. So you do see that journey that you talked about before, Craig, which I love. I do love that, and the development of that, where she goes thereafter is amazing. So when he leaves her, he leaves her, slightly, in quite a state. Your world's been turned upside down, and she plays all that stuff really well, and I do like that idea. I can't believe I'm being so positive about it. I did find it quite a painful experience, and I would rather have wished I've not watched it, but
there is an element of like, because we're all Who fans, is even if they dropped out a tiny little episode of an hour, 30 minutes or whatever, and you've been waiting for it, you just end up trying to embrace it at the time. So at the time, I think we probably all might have enjoyed it or just saw past the shit. Just because it's like, it's fucking Doctor Who and we all love it and it's back on, so who gives a shit? But now when you're reflecting on it, because there's so much of a catalogue of great episodes which have been since, you're going, yeah, he didn't really do that good, did he? But hopefully RTD's learned from that now as well.
Well, he has said he's not bringing it back in the same way because this is 15-year-old television. Like, he has said it will be nothing like this.
Yeah, but will it have the same
campness, I think?
Campness and weirdness, but a modern 2022 version of it. That's the problem.
I don't know, actually. If you watch some of his other dramas, like Years and Years and It's a Sin, they're not camp, they're heartbreaking.
This was schmaltzy and over the top and
cheesy.
And really,
but this one is.
It's like he's deliberately said, there's a story here, but we don't give a shit about it. We're just going to stick a load of this stuff in.
It's Christmas Day, John. You've got to think
Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's not Christmas Day now when we watched it.
Exactly.
This is why, but it's been made for the Christmas audience on that day.
If I was a Doctor Who fan that was going to allow all this shite, and it was Christmas, I might still think it was shit, but with a little cherry on top.
Yeah. And a sherry in your belly.
A sherry in your belly, to add
a bottle of sherry.
And he's carried on again, and I'll keep coming back to kind of what he was trying to do. But I'm a big RTD fan, not necessarily this story, but
you're a big RTD apologist. Certainly,
I'm not apologizing. I think he's great, but what he's trying to do the other thing as well, isn't he? He's trying to market this abroad, and what he's done in these first 2 seasons, and particularly Christmas, is he gets all these brilliant images of the UK,
London and UK.
Yeah, so you've got in this one, you've got the Thames. You know, we've had the London Eye, you've had Parliament, you've had what's it, Tower of London. So you've got that coming in again. You mentioned the robots before. I mean, yeah, okay. I think here they stand out and they really jar. But again, what he's trying to do is they were one of the big baddies in the previous Christmas special. Yeah. And it's that we've not watched Doctor Who for a year. It's Christmas Day, so we'll put it on. Oh, I remember them. They were all right. And it just buys people in that first 10 minutes to stop them turning over.
Yeah, but the first 10 minutes, Donna Noble is screeching like a Harridan. How is that going to help people want to watch it?
Because again, of the time, John, of the time, isn't it?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I never thought that.
Would Little Britain be funny now?
No,
there you go.
It wasn't funny then.
It wasn't funny then.
But it was seen as funny and people loved it. That was
but by who? The people who, oh, actually, Lance is right. Fuck.
Yeah.
So we go for
That's what we're worried about. That's what we're worried about. I was just thinking that if that's going to be what RTD does now, thinking, well, I want to tune into the zeitgeist. It's just going to be full of Love Island references.
I've been very indifferent and a bit disappointed that he's coming back, and it's going to be David Tennant and Catherine Tate. I am.
Oh, is it?
And I think this is where the fear
a couple
came
of specials.
From. Yeah, but the fear came from this, watching the first 10, 15 minutes of this, going, fucking hell, this is just dreadful. Why the fuck, out of all of Doctor Who, would you bring this showrunner and these two characters back? Because if you saw the first 10, 15 minutes, half an hour of this, I'd say you're fucking mental. And luckily, I know that there's parts of it that are good, but there's parts of it that are awful. You know, and that to me worries the shit out of me, because I don't like the idea of Doctor Who going back at all. I don't think
I agree with that.
I don't think you should bring back doctors. I don't think you should, and all that sort of stuff, unless it's just for whatever.
Yeah.
But that this sort of cemented a massive fear in me, and made me quite angry.
But you know why they're bringing him back for? It's the 60th anniversary.
But
Tennant is the most popular. Donna is the most popular.
I know, but I don't. As a Doctor Who fan, blah blah. It doesn't bother me. They're just trying to appeal to the idiots, the X Factor, these kind of people. I don't give a fuck about them. They can fuck off and watch the shite TV. They've got it. Don't ruin Doctor Who for me.
But Bob, without those people watching it, because it has, I love, I love Jodie, I love Chris Chibnall. You know, I've been a very strong advocate, but there's no doubt the viewing figures are going down. And without a pull back in, it's potentially it could end up finishing. Now, it has been said, hasn't it, that Russell T Davies was approached because Doctor was in danger. So what do? Okay, he's not doing it forever. He's pulling people back in with the highlights. A bit like you go back to.
It feels like the flailing of a dying animal.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's like only like
it does. It does.
It's like when I can't think of his name. There's that really famous movie director that everyone loves, and whenever he's involved in a film, and he might do the first one, and they bring in the second and third films come out and the crap, and he's not involved. What the bloody hell?
J.J. Abrams.
That's exactly what I mean. Isn't it amazing? You recognise it straight away from that description, and it's a bit like going back to Russell T Davies. You know, it's like you bring him in. Oh, sorry, my arm's getting overexcited. I'm going to stop.
No, I just wondered which one you meant. J.J. Abrams.
Oh, I heard J.J. Abrams.
James Cameron.
Both actually. I was thinking J.J. Abrams, I think, is the one that came to me.
Yeah.
Both would be good examples. But it's what they do is someone sets it up, it doesn't quite work. It's not. It's just they bring someone back that can maybe bring it back again, or has a kudos to it. And that's the way I see it. John's not buying it.
Doesn't often work, though.
No. It's going to work next year, though, John. I'll tell you. I think, Bobby, you should be more worried about shooting as the Doctor, because I don't know how that's going to go.
The thing is, to me, I just think not as in his age, too young. He's like Matt Smith, was like an old man in a young man's body. Peter Davison, like a bit of an older, wiser thing going on. I think I don't think I relate to him, because I think what they'll try and go for is the youth, and I don't really get the youth. You know what I mean? Because I'm an older man. You know what I mean? And I hope that I do, and I hope that I love him like I do with every Doctor. I know I won't dislike him, but I will. I think the program might start losing me, and that's fine, because it has to move on to a different generation or whatever. And I've got all the Doctor in the world to go back, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna
Do
rescue
you,
you,
do you
Bob.
find that they're gonna try too hard to grab these viewers at the expense
The
of
world's
losing?
changed. The world has changed massively, and TV and the TV show has to change with it. And I think Doctor Who has always been guilty of not changing with the times. But as a sci-fi nerd, it's difficult to change. I think that's the. But whatever. I mean, with Jodie, I hated it. Hated it.
I remember
that's
that.
what I was
The
gonna
first
say to you.
season, you hated
And now I go back and I love it.
And then you pulled out of season 2, didn't you? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You might fall out with it for a while, but I don't think you'll ever
But that's
stop loving it.
fine.
Yeah,
That's
of course it's
Well,
fine.
I'm a lot more chilled about it now, to be honest. I can now just go, well, I could just watch all this other stuff, and that's all right. And then I might, but I'll always watch Doctor Who. I always will watch Doctor Who, pretty much immediately.
It's funny how this Runaway Bride episode has got you talking about that sort of stuff, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the sort of extremity of it all.
Because I think it's we slagged off Suki for picking it, but you think about it, it's perfectly placed because you got the writer who's coming up next, and you got 2 actors who are coming up next. So it's like preempting what to get, and it's not a very good episode to show their talent of that.
Not helping that, is it?
You know what I mean?
They've
done
I think
others,
that's,
which is much better.
That's what it did. It worried me, and because I kind of try not to be bothered, and I'm not so bothered about, I just think it's TV, whatever. Don't get too bothered about it. But this kind of bothered me. I think I think it was the stupidity. Why would you go back and do this? But
I think Russell T Davies will look at what he's done in the past and decide to do something. But you are right. And I think there's going to be some similarities because, I mean, there's pictures out there, but there's a lot of photos of Donna's family. And that makes it going back to, I think, a soapy sort of scenario that they might put in for those 3 episodes that they're going to show next year.
Every time I hear the word soapy, I just want to put the words tit wank on the end. Don't know why. Yeah.
Do we go around for our 3 words?
And mine's going to be so.
Can I
2 words? 2 words.
Can I just ask one question about your opinions on one moment in the show that I never quite get? When Donna invites him in for Christmas dinner, he says, "Yeah, I'm going to go and park the TARDIS." Do you think he's actually going to? I know he doesn't go in because they have that little conversation in between. Do you think at that moment he's going to go in, or is he going to run?
I do. I think. I can't. I want him to go in and have some Christmas dinner with people because he's very lonely.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember if he did or not. But then,
no, he doesn't because they have a little chat and then he shoots off and goes off. Yeah.
But no, I did. I remember at the time, and even watching it now, I want him to go in and not be lonely because he's not in a good place. Yeah. So
I don't think he does go in.
No, I don't think. I think he was going to run off as well, and that's what I can't work. If Donna reads that into him, that empathy coming through, I just wonder. I always wondered what you guys thought because I'm never sure what he's going to do.
Yeah, I think he didn't go in, but
I think Matt Smith. Oh God, he goes for Christmas dinner.
He does. He'd have gone in left, right, and
but
center.
I don't think he goes for Christmas dinner until Matt Smith.
No, he doesn't.
So there you go. Yeah.
Anyway, 2 words, Bob.
Oh God,
that's enough.
Yeah, that'll do. Oh God, there you go.
And John, we had the soapy tip rank. Have you?
No, I don't want to say anything too nasty now. Eminently unlikable. There you go.
Brilliant. Suki?
There's a couple of things. This is like Mr. Saxon gets mentioned.
Oh, he does, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's all. He's laying stuff out now. He's laying stuff out now for the following. Yeah, so Mr. Saxon, and I like because in the Target books, used to be bits where the Doctor pulls out something from his pocket, and people just wondered how has he got all this stuff in his pocket. And this is now being mentioned in the.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
My pocket's a big. Yeah,
that was
big
cool
on the inside. Yeah. I thought, fantastic, and tortured to mention all the way through this.
Yeah, it was heavily promoting it then, wasn't it?
Yeah. So my 2 words. Oh, there's also I quite like the fact that Lance is just ripping into Donna at one stage.
He's awful, isn't he?
That's
he's meant to be, but it is horrible. Yeah.
I must admit, there are still moments in my life where I think, Jesus, am I that sad? Because I get excited when I find a new packet of crisps or go abroad and get paprika crisps. And I do get that Donna flashback.
Bad.
No, John, don't say that. I won't.
Let me find the ways to tell you.
No, please.
And my 2 words are just Yuletide froth.
Oh my God.
Froth.
Is this froth?
And Craig, 2 words or last words?
You've all been so harsh. I was expecting
I haven't
it
been
from...
harsh.
I
yeah,
thought
but you've
you,
not been
I
there.
thought
thought
we
you...
I thought we'd be harsher, Craig, and I think we've been
I
quite well
think-
behaved.
I'm my heart is bleeding. This t-shirt was white when we started this
Oh,
podcast.
Jesus Christ!
It's only because Bob didn't go as harsh as I expected him to go that I have been the harsh one today.
I thought Suki would be defending it, and he's been like on the line as well. So
Well, no, everybody's been attacking me because I chose
I've
it.
not.
But the story
I
itself,
have. Freely
the
admit
story
that, yeah.
itself isn't. It's just a Christmas episode, which is just something for the masses. So for people just to watch on Christmas Day while they're just getting drunk or eating their Christmas dinner. That's it, right? It's not something that's going to go, oh, I wish I'd done. This is part of the canon at all. You know, it's just something. You know, it's just there. It's just froth, as I said, froth.
Craig, 2 words.
Christmas cracker. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's as a Christmas episode. It's better than some. So I'm going to go Christmas cracker.
And to finish off, my 2 words would be hard wank.
Hard wank.
Hard wank, as opposed to a soft wank.
Yeah, soft wank's really.
Have you ever done that
I
when
didn't-
you're just so excited you can come while you're soft?
No.
I could come before I could wank. There you go,
Really?
there's a
You know
little
what?
story for you.
Once
It's a
in-
funny feeling.
I
And then
remember.
when it spurted out.
I remember in GCSEs, I was in an exam and I finished like 2 hours early because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I went through I was bored as fuck. You couldn't leave for another hour. So I sat there mentally thinking, can I make myself come just by thinking?
And did you?
No.
What's that? What's that supposed to be? Tantric sex or something?
I
Yes,
don't know if it didn't work.
That's what Sting does.
Wow.
That's what Sting does, yeah.
Oh, we got to choose our next ones.
Yes,
Choose
we
our
do.
next ones. Choose our next ones.
Is that
Yeah.
is that as
Who's
best
gonna-
we can do for a
who's-
Sting? Is it?
Yeah.
Who's going to go first?
I've got mine. I'm happy to go first.
I've got mine.
John needs to go last because he needs to listen
Bob.
to which one he most fancies.
Yeah, that's
Me?
the way I do it.
That's why I love the fact you do that.
With,
Bob's
with
first.
the abominable, I can't even say it. The abominable
Abominable
abominable snowmen, because it's just arrived at my door and I really want to watch it. So it'd be a good excuse to
Oh.
watch it.
I ain't got it, so
Troughton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fountain.
Thank you, Mark from Proctor who put the video up on Twitter, so I know what I'm talking about.
Craig, what's yours?
Well, we've got a regeneration coming, so I'm going to go with the 10th planet. I'm going to go with William into
Ooh.
Patrick.
Well, that's
Ooh.
cool.
Suki.
I am going to go with the 2 Doctors.
Oh,
Don't know. I just saw it in the book,
What's-
which I
what's-
picked up for 50p.
Oh, good one.
Doctor Who, the complete history.
Is that Smith
you were
and
ripped
Tennant?
off. Didn't you get your discount on
That's the 2 Doctors is Colin
this is
Baker
in
and
a
Patrick Troughton. It's
Alright.
6 episodes.
No,
All right,
3
good to know.
episodes.
Good to know.
John,
3 episodes.
How many
I just-
episodes is yours, Bob?
Can't
that?
remember now.
4. Yours is 4. 4.
What about
Mine's
your-
4.
John, do
Mine's
you want me
4.
to go? Oh,
Yes.
I will go in the modern world, the Day of the Doctor.
Oh.
Just
Oh,
seen
God.
it a million times.
Two-
million
two-
times.
2
Yeah.
multi-Doctor stories to choose from so far.
And John.
So Bob's is
You go for the show. It's not meant to be that way.
Bob's is 4 episodes, yeah,
Yes.
and it's Troughton.
Yeah.
And
But
including
it's
fishing
not,
episode.
it's not out yet. It's a cartoon.
It's
All
out.
right,
It's out.
Cartoon.
it's out.
Oh,
He's
sorry,
got-
yeah.
rephrase that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll rephrase that.
So
Yeah.
Suki, you picked.
The 2 Doctors.
6
Which is-
episode
episodes.
story. 3
Six.
episodes.
350,
episodes.
345 minutes.
Three.
Who's in it?
Colin Baker.
Colin
Right,
Baker, Perry.
okay.
Harry's in it.
Right, Craig.
I went with 10th Planet, which is part story, part animation. It's William Hartnell's regeneration to Patrick Troughton.
Excellent. Okay, and
Cybermen.
Cliff. What did you go for?
The Day of the Doctor.
How
As
many
John,
episodes is that?
it's one like a
Day of the
feature
Doctor,
length.
please.
Jesus Christ.
Feature length episode.
Yeah,
No,
Right,
feature.
rolling.
77 minutes.
Yeah, I'll go with.
It's
yeah,
5. Who's 5? It's Craig.
Oh.
It's 10th planet.
10th Planet.
There you go. So 10th planet next, gentlemen.
Ten
I'm quite
planets.
looking forward to that.
accidentally makes good sense with the regeneration shit.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
so.
it's a good one, that.
But the Donald Noble thing made sense with Suckies.
Sort of.
So,
It's gonna be
Are we
shit, isn't
doing?
it?
I know we haven't got a date yet, but are we doing this before Jodie's finale? I'm assuming because that's in about a month's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably. But we'll have them kind of meetings off air, Craig, when we're not recording
Craig,
the podcast.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and to finish off, we've also got an audio book we're looking. We'll be reviewing,
Big
and that'll be
Finish.
coming out soon from a Big Finish. So listen out for that one as well. And
Little bonus.
goodbye from Sheps and everyone else at the Around the Console.
Bye.
Bye. Well done, Chef, by the way.
Lighters.
That was
Thank
good
you, Suki.
hosting. Well done.
Getting better.
Fuck you, Suki.
Darling.